Osun Governor expresses administration's readiness to give state transportation system a facelift. President Buhari to receive award on peace and security. Our business news focuses on prices of commodity as Christmas festival approaches. Lagos man backs life imprisonment for defiling minor. Governor Ademola Adeleke expressed the readiness of his administration to giving a facelift to the state transportation system in a way that will enhance commuters' convenience and economy. Governor Adeleke stated this while inaugurating the State Committee on Transportation. Saheed Adeboje has the details.
The top echelon of the People's Democratic Party in Osun State, led by its caretaker committee chairman, Dr. Adekunle Akindele, joined Governor Ademola Adeleke, who was flanked with his deputy, Prince Kola Adewusi, and the secretary to the state government, Alhaji Teslim Igbalaye, to perform the inauguration of the Committee on Transportation. Inaugurating the 13-man Transportation Committee, Governor Ademola Adeleke expressed the readiness of his administration to always take action that will bring comfort to an average resident of Osun State. Governor Adeleke, who described the transportation system as vital to economic development, said that his administration is set to create modern transport terminal to ease movement across the state.
Our administration is determined to sanitize every part across the state. We can no longer allow our parks to be breeding grounds for traffic and lawlessness. It is time to secure our state by making park environment safe.
Implored members of the committee to discharge the job before them with utmost seriousness. Responding on behalf of other members of the Transportation Committee, the chairman, Mr. Jola Akintola, appreciated Governor Adeleke for counting them worthy of such lofty assignment. Mr. Akintola assured that members of the committee will not betray the trust vested in them.
We want to assure the government that we will not disappoint Mr. Governor.
The program climaxed with the swearing to an oath of allegiance and that of office. Saeed Adeboje, OSBC News.
Teachers in Osun State under the umbrella of Nigeria Union of Teachers have expressed strong conviction in the ability of Governor Ademola Adeleke to reposition the education sector for the betterment of the society. The teachers made this known at the 7th Quadrennial and 8th Delegates Conference of the Nigeria Union of Teachers, Osun State Wings. OSBC reporter Oluchi Amunda has the details.
The NUT Hall along Iwo-Ibadan Road, Osogbo, was full to capacity as members of the Nigeria Union of Teachers, Osun State Wing, converged for the 7th Quadrennial and 8th Delegate Conference of the association with the theme Shortage of Teachers and Lower Standard of Education in Nigeria, the Nexus and Implication on National Development. In his welcome address, the outgoing state chairman of the union, Comrade Adekomi Adekunle, who described the theme of the event as not only apt but encapsulating, appreciated the entire members and elders of the NUT for their love and support during his tenure and charged the new leadership to build on the existing legacies for the uplift of the union and its members.
Nobody is perfect. Nobody can do it all. I build on the legacy of my former chairman, and I want them to build on my legacy so that at the end of the day, we shall all have cause to celebrate teaching, and then UT will be promoted and become an acceptable union among teachers in the state.
In their goodwill messages, the leadership of the Federal Ministry of Labour and Productivity, the Nigerian Labour Congress in Osun State, the Joint Negotiation Council, SUBEB, TESCAM, as well as the representatives of NUT elders enjoined the delegates to elect leaders that will protect their interests and promote harmonious relationship between the union and the state government. At the end of the 7th Quadrennial and 8th Delegate Conference of the NUT, Comrade Muritala Fatade emerged the chairman of the union, While speaking with OSBC News, Comrade Fatade appreciated Governor Ademola Adeleke for his campaign promises to teachers and the entire workforce, expressing strong belief that he will keep his words of repositioning the education sector and offsetting the salary arrears of workers, just as he pledged the support of the teachers for his administration. The new chairman, who was full of gratitude to members of the NUT for trusting him to serve them, promised to be a servant leader who will always put the interest of the union first above all.
Let me quickly appeal to him that the recently employed teacher, I know he has milk on his face. He should please, through the committee set up, he should not delay action. He should please allow that people to continue their work. There is room to employ more people because we have too many vacancies in our schools.
Other executive members of the union include Comrade Babalola Babatunde, who was elected as deputy chairman, Comrade Akin Adeojo, secretary, and Comrade Kayode Olabi, treasurer, among others. Oluchi Amuda, OSBC News.
President Muhammadu Buhari is to be conferred with an award on peace and security by the Abu Dhabi Forum in Washington, D.C., United States. President spokesperson Garba Shehu, who disclosed this in a statement, said the award was announced during the visit of the Forum's Secretary General Al-Mahfoudou bin Bayar and his deputy Bob Roberts to the president in Washington. He added that a conferment of the award was in line with the forum's work in fighting religious extremism and promoting peaceful coexistence and dialogue amongst all religions. Speaking at the meeting, President Buhari, who is currently attending a U.S.-Africa summit in Washington, commended the foundation for promoting multi-faith dialogue across the world. The Federal Capital Territory Minister, Malam Muhammad Bello, has advocated for improved revenue profile for the territory through a robust tax policy. The minister stated this at the FCT Internal Revenue Service Town Hall meeting today in Abuja, said this would enhance infrastructure development in the nation's capital. Broadcast journalists have been charged to make responsibility the beacon of their profession. The Chief Executive Officer of the Channels Media Group, Mr. John Momo, gave the charge at the induction of the first set of members of the Society of Nigeria Broadcasters in Lagos. Oluwatoyin Yusuf's report from Lagos is presented from our studios.
In his keynote address, Mr. John Momo remarked that responsibility connotes objectivity, fairness, balance with unbiased reportage. The broadcast manager stressed the beacon of broadcast journalism, with whose responsibility should be upheld by broadcast managers, editors, reporters, and producers. He regretted that the media landscape is fraught with and taken over by social media journalists mostly untrained, thus churning out half-truths and unverified information, often difficult to detract and with devastating effects on society, charging professional broadcast journalists to look into content creation to dislodge social media journalists from the landscape. Mr. John Momo prodded media professionals to promote peace in all aspects of their job. In their remarks, former chairman OSBC Board of Directors Dr. Yemi Farumbi, media icons engineers Vincent Maduka and Shingo Zwigwe took a swipe at the manner licenses are given to would-be proprietors who establish stations with depth of professionals and content. They stressed the need for the broadcast industry to emphasize dress code and invest in training of staff. Earlier in his address of welcome, foremost unionist and executive secretary of the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, BORN, Dr. Yemisi Bangboshe, had described the establishment of the Society for Nigerian Broadcasters (SBN) as a huge success and a step towards building on the foundation laid by broadcast progenitors in Nigeria. He regretted that 60 years after this idea was mooted in 1962, broadcasting remained the only sector without a professional body. Bangboshe gave kudos to the late Ambassador Segun Olusola, who came up with the idea in 1962, and to Ambassador Yemi Farimbi, Alhaji Abdurrahman Michika, Mr. Inina Ndagoba, and Elder Diron Orekunrin as first trustees for their efforts at seeing to the registration of the society in 1994 by the Corporate Affairs Commission. Dr. Bangboshe noted that professionals in broadcasting and broadcast journalism can now walk shoulder high with other professionals in medicine, law, accounting and engineering with a view to raising the standard of the practice beyond seeing it as a mere vocation for raw commerce. He thumbed up for the National Universities Commission NUC for agreeing to introducing broadcasting as a course of study in universities. Part of the inductees in Lagos were the director of OSBC News Radio, Abimbola Babatunde, director News OSBC Television, Akinola Owolabi, director of Sports OSBC, Muhyiddin Adeleke, and director of Engineering, Tonyo Wojaye. Others were Bukola Redibigbe, Coordinating Director, Minister of Information, Moshood Suleiman, Director of Press, Minister of Information, and Oluwatoyin Yusuf, Deputy Director, Current Affairs, OSBC Television. It could be recalled that the first stream of induction of pioneers into the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters took place in Abuja a couple of days ago. The second stream of the first set took place in Lagos with inductees drawn from all over the country. From Lagos, Oluwatoyin Yusuf for OSBC News.
This is the news across the country, coming to you from Osun State Broadcasting Corporation, Voice of the West, Nigeria. Now, a mid-news message. Peace is an essential ingredient of stability. Maintain peace wherever you are. As Christmas festival approaches, Business News Today focuses on the prices of goods. Sophia Billy takes the observation of business owners within Osogbo metropolis. Her report.
Christmas is one of the happiest time of the year for many families, but it can also be one of the most expensive. Christmas is celebrated on December 25th and is both a sacred religion holiday and a worldwide cultural and commercial phenomenon. For 2 millennia, people around the world has been observing it with traditions and practices that are both religious and secular in nature. Christians celebrate Christmas Day as the anniversary of the birth of Jesus of Nazareth, a spiritual leader whose teaching formed the basis of their religion. Though Christmas is still weeks away, early shoppers are already combing the market in search of needed items to make the festive season delightful. At all the major markets across the state, Christmas shoppers are trying to make the best of the economic situation and get value for their money. Some people also believe that the festive season provides the opportunity for traders to make huge profits, necessitating the price hike. This is because the price of key staples in Nigeria, such as rice, chicken, groundnut oil, pepper, and tomato, among others, which customarily add to the jollification of the season, have hit the roof. A market survey conducted by OSBC Business News reporter at Shasha Market with Mrs. Bisola, a tomato seller, said things are very expensive and she does not get sales. As before, she sells a basket of pepper for 1.3 or 1.5, but now she sells at 2.5.
No, sir. So now we are selling rubber tomato now 1,080,000. Before we are selling it 1,900 before, but now 180,000. Rojo gold 4,000. So this basket is about 2.5. Before 1.5, 1.4, 1.3, 1,000. There's no market now. There's no market now. But maybe God is good.
Still at Shasha Market, Mr. Olali Kura, a meat seller, said he does not add price to his goods. Irrespective of the incoming festive period, price for his goods still remain the same.
Don't buy properly now. Don't buy skill. That's skill 3. As well as seller, I love add price.
Miss Sulia, a provision seller, said the prices of her goods changes every week. As before, it was every 3 months. She said she is not certain if the increase in price is as a result of the change in dollar or fuel scarcity.
Every week, before like maybe every 3 months they do change price of goods, but now it's every week. I don't know why. Maybe it changes. Maybe because of high rate of dollar, or maybe scarcity of fare, or I don't know.
Sophia Billy reporting for OSBC Business News.
The new cashless policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria has been described as ill-timed and requires necessary structure to be put in place for a successful outcome. This forms the aggregate opinion of pundits who spoke with OSBC News in Osogbo, the state capital. Sonja Onorinde has more on the story.
Speaking shortly after meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari in Daura, Katsina State, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, said that the Nigerian economy was overdue to go cashless as the federal government has invested in required payment system infrastructure to make the transaction seamless, recalling that the cashless policy started in 2012 but being stepped down on 3 occasions in an effort to deepen payment infrastructure across the country. Mr. Emefiele said that between 2012 to 2022, a lot of electronic channels have been put in place designed to strengthen banking and financial service transactions, adding that the country must move beyond a situation where 80% of the cash in circulation is out of the bank, which is no longer the case in many countries. In line with their constitutional responsibility, there are growing indications that the leadership of the National Assembly is considering a joint session to allow the Directorate of the Apex Bank playing the new policy, which has not gone down well with most of the lawmakers as well as ordinary Nigerians, such as Mr. Ojetola Oyetunde Emmanuel and Dr. Soji Akinpelu, who described the new cash policy as ill-timed while speaking with OSBC News in Osogbo, the state capital. The new cash policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria may likely to generate anxiety among Nigeria for some time to come due to what analysts posited as normal process for the new cash policy to develop robustly and transform the way of doing business in Nigeria. Sanya Ononide reporting for OSBC News.
In the meantime, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Makurdi Office, and Benue State Police Command have debunked the report trending on social media of alleged discovery of mutilated naira notes in the capital city. The video shows sacks of perceived mutilated naira notes discovered inside big container around Wadata Market, but an official of the anti-graft agency, who did not want to be mentioned since he was not authorized to speak, said the office got information of sacks of mutilated naira notes and deployed its men to the place, but discovered that they were condemned notes from the Central Bank of Nigeria. The official portrait of the governor of Osun State, Senator Ademola Adeleke, is now officially ready for collection and distribution to all ministries, departments and agencies of Osun State government. In the same vein, individuals, corporate and non-corporate organizations willing to obtain the portrait can do so with immediate effect. Venue of the collection is Ministry of Information and Civic Orientation, from morning till evening through Mondays to Friday. An e-payment of portrait per unit can be made to any of the banks in Osun State via an agency code number 4280000 and revenue code number 4040050. Thereafter, a payment receipt obtained from any of the banks to that effect should be brought to the Ministry of Information and Civic Orientation, State Secretariat, for the immediate collection of the official portrait. For more inquiries, you can visit State Ministry of Information and Civic Orientation. The leadership of NASFAT in Osogbo, the state capital, says the organization is relentless towards bringing succor to the lives of many Nigerians. Chairman NASFAT Osogbo branch, Alhaji Razak Gbadegeshin, gave the assurance in Osogbo during the opening ceremony of free surgical operation organized by NASFAT. Sonya Onorinde has more on the story.
Of NASFAT worldwide on health education, livelihood, Dawa, NASFAT Osogbo Medical Center effected free medical care service for numerous beneficiaries drawn from Osogbo, Ikirun, Iragbiji with ganglion, hernia, hydroceles, lipomia to enjoy free surgical treatment funded by NASFAT. Speaking with OSBC News, the chairman of NASFAT Osogbo branch, Alhaji Razak Gbadegeshin, who maintained that NASFAT remain committed to humanitarian initiatives to every human being irrespective of religion or political Affiliation said the annual free medical initiative organized by NASFAT was temporarily paused due to COVID-19 pandemic.
We organized the program to assist the less privileged members of our society and those that are not our members, in order to cushion the effect of the hospital bill that some of our members and those that came that are not our members could not afford. And it's part of what NASFAT is doing every year nationally. So it's part of what the NASFAT headquarters is carrying out. That is the health, education, livelihood, and dawah.
The surgeon at NASFAT Osogbo Medical Center, Dr. Abdurrahuf Okpawole, as well as some of the beneficiaries, as Mr. Fatai Adeniran, Mrs. Alimat Akorede, lauded the leadership of NASFAT for the initiative, adding that it has transformed the lives of many positively since it was debuted.
It is another opportunity to make sure that we empower people, those people that they are less privileged and they have some diseases like lipoma, they have hernia, they have hydrosis, wrist ganglion, lump, so that you can, our people here can benefit, and even people from other places, town, villages, other religions, they are coming to benefit from this gesture.
Not the person personally come for this operation. It is my daughter, and we have been on about this ailment for some time, and I have been trying here and there to source for money to get this thing done. As God used to do his work miraculously. I just heard this over the radio, and I said I should come. Maybe what we need to do, maybe is the type of what they are doing here. And fortunately for us, they get her tested and they say it's something that will be easy for them to do.
It's a very good initiative, and NASFAT has always been known for their humanitarian services all over the world. So it's just the confirmation of all the things that we know NASFAT for. And it's a very good initiative, especially in this kind of place where there is a lot of poverty and people cannot afford health services like that. So it's very good. And we pray that God will continue to bless NASFAT as a body.
The beneficiaries, all the well-to-do individuals, governments at all levels, non-governmental organizations, corporate businesses to key into the vision of NASFAT in alleviating the plight of ordinary citizens. Sanya Ononide reporting for OSBC News.
A man, Kazim Adedayo, has been sentenced to life imprisonment by Justice Soladue of the Special Offences Court sitting in Ikeja, Lagos State, for sexually assaulting an 11-year-old girl. 3 prosecuting witnesses testified against the defendant, while 2 exhibits were presented to the court against him. Giving details of the incident, the victim, name withheld, who was the second prosecuting witness, said the defendant, whom she identified as Daddy Jamal, inserted his finger in a private part which caused her great pain and made her to cry. According to her, Adedayo then asked if she had taken care of a private part, after which he now inserted his finger into it. He then asked her to follow him into his room, which she refused. She said she had to open up about the incident to a neighbor who noticed the strangeness in her behavior. This led to a mother finding out about the incident and then involving the police, who arrested Adedayo. Super Eagles forward Victor Osimhen will remain at Napoli FC despite interest from Manchester United and Arsenal. Adeyemi Aboderi has details on sports updates.
Morocco is sweating on the fitness of team captain Roman Saiz ahead of today's semi-final game against France. Saiz was in tears as he was taken off the field on a stretcher 13 minutes into the Atlas Lions' 1-0 victory over Portugal on Saturday. The former Wolves defender is still suffering from pain in the posterior thigh muscle and is likely to be ruled out of the game. According to top sources in the team's camp, Saiz is racing against time and doing his best to be ready for the France match. Morocco became the first African country to reach the semi-final of the FIFA World Cup and will be going out against France when the two teams face off tonight in Qatar. Meanwhile, Argentina's captain Lionel Messi and Julian Alvarez combined beautifully well as they reached their 6th World Cup final with victory over Croatia on Tuesday. Messi now gets one last chance to win the piece of silverware that has eluded in his trophy-laden career as they will return on Sunday to face either Morocco or France in the final. Alvarez double and Messi's penalty ensure the Argentines were 3-0 better than Croatia. Messi will now have the opportunity to make amends for the bitter disappointment of losing the 2014 World Cup final to Germany in Rio's iconic Maracanã Stadium in Brazil. In the meantime, African soccer ruling body CAF will apply the use of video assistant referee to all underage matches as well as inter-club competitions taking place next year. Nigeria's Golden Eaglets and Flying Eagles among the teams that will take part in the 2023 African Cup of Nations Under-17 in Algeria and Under-20 in Egypt, respectively. The Olympic Eagles are in the final round of the qualifier and will face Junior Silly Stars of Guinea, while Rivers United will participate in the group stage of the CAF Confederation Cup. The football governing body on Tuesday announced that VAR will be present in the venues of the underage tournament, while it will be introduced to the inter-club competitions from the quarterfinal. The Under-20 African Cup of Nations will start on February 24th through March 16th, and Under-17 African Cup of Nations will take place between April 38th to be a target for a few top European clubs. It's formed in Serie A and the UEFA Champions League has seen him linked with the likes of Manchester United and Arsenal. The Nigerian international, when asked about his future at Napoli, said he is 100% sure to remain at Napoli. Ogun State government has rewarded athletes, coaches and officials who won laurels at the just concluded 21st National Sport Festival in Asaba, Delta State. Each gold medalist will smile to the bank with ₦1 million, while silver medalists will get ₦500,000 and 250,000 naira is for bronze medal winners. Coaches and officials were not left out in the naira spray. The cash reward was made known to the athletes by Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun on Tuesday during a reception for Team Ogun in Abeokuta, the state capital. Ogun State won a total of 15 gold, 18 silver and 37 bronze medals at the festival, which ended on Saturday. Ogun State will host the 22nd National Sport Festival in 2024. Sport Update returns tomorrow. My name is Adeyemi Abodere.
And to end the news across the country, here again are the major points. Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke has expressed the readiness of his administration to giving a facelift to the state's transportation system in a way that will enhance commuters' convenience and economy. President Muhammadu Buhari is to be conferred with an award on peace and security by the Abu Dhabi Forum in Washington, D.C., United States. As Christmas festival approaches, business news today focused on the prices of goods this festive period. A man, Kazim Adedayo, has been sentenced to life imprisonment by Justice Soladui of the Special Offences Court sitting in Ikeja, Lagos State, for sexually assaulting an 11-year-old girl. And that was the news across the country, edited by Timitokbe Olayiwola. For more about us, visit www.osbcng.org. Thanks for listening. Good evening.
You are live. On Osun Radio.